All right, what's going on, family? Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. It's been a long time since I've been live on. Um, it's been a long time since I've been live on this channel on YouTube. So I just felt like doing something different. Like I said, having this extra time, sometimes you just want to do something different. So it's all good in the neighborhood. All right, so now we are. Of course, now somebody wants to call me when I'm live. Lord have mercy. Anyway. Person kept calling my phone, so I'm just like, okay, let's see who the heck this is. I'm just like, for God's sakes. Anyways, you know, shout out to people who are investors and are trying to wholesale and buy property. But a word of advice, since we're live, a word of advice for crying out loud. Learn proper phone etiquette. Now, maybe I'm just old school when it comes to certain things, but learn proper phone etiquette. And proper phone etiquette, how it was when I was growing up. You know, this is how I know I'm getting older. Um, hey, how you doing? May I speak to the homeowner of the property? My name is such and such. Or can I speak to Larry Patterson because that's my name? You know, maybe that's just how I grew up. I don't know. It's just called me crazy. But I swear up and down, like people that call to make an offer on my home that I live in or my investment properties did not go to phone etiquette class. And maybe it's because of today's technology that people don't know how, what I would consider to be proper human communication. It's like for crying out loud, man. Sorry, I'm messing, helping my dog get under his blanket. But yeah, it's just like proper human communication. It's a crazy concept, but Lord have mercy. All right, that just, like I said, just sometimes it just blows the heck out of me. So if I'm seeing I'm a little blown by this because I am. I despise it. But anyways, okay. So I'm off my soapbox now. Okay, so today's title, and I'm actually glad that my YouTube connection is actually much better because usually on this laptop, which that's why I'm getting a new one, and two Christmas presents to myself is going to be a newer vehicle and a newer laptop. So that's the only thing as far as stuff that I want. And I'm really not a materialistic person, but because I like to go live, I want to be able to just utilize one laptop. I'm more of a laptop kind of guy, not a desktop kind of guy, and I want a good laptop. So. But anyways, as I was saying, so today's topic is talking about Northern Virginia is done. Real estate is done. And usually, so I might live in Northern Virginia, but I don't go out of my way to look at real estate in Northern Virginia because it's always been overpriced. Like, luckily, when I bought my house, full transparency that I'm living in now, um, luckily, when I bought my house, it was at $250,000. It's supposed to be at 260, but we were able to get it down for 250. But this was in 2010. This was a different economy. This was 15 years ago. It's crazy. But this was a long time ago. So, with that being said, um, the world was a different place. The economy was a different place. Even though the U.S. economy was in bad shape, kind of like it is now. Only difference is back then we didn't have a government shutdown. But 3 years later a government shutdown happened. But anyways, we were, jobs being lost, foreclosures. I mean, I was able to get this house at a short sale, and that's the only real reason why I was able to get it at a good price. And the homes that were cheaper than the home that I'm living in now were actually, needed way more work done. This house just needed a paint job, some cleanup. Had got some lights installed, fence, very minor stuff, nothing major. Luckily, like, didn't have to get like until 8 years later, didn't have to get a new AC. And wasn't until, I'd say 13 years later, I didn't have to get a new HVAC. So, I think that's a pretty good freaking deal. I just had to put a new water heater in one of my rental properties. I think I got and then what was it? 5 years later, I had to get a new water heater. So, moral of the story is, moving in, didn't have to do any major work until later. Got a new roof. I think it was 8 years later. So, that it's just that's the life of home ownership. But anyways, I'm not supposed to be talking about this, but just because somebody, that's the beauty of going live. Spontaneous things happen, and you just go from there. Okay. By the way, I'm live on Facebook and I'm live on YouTube. I'm sure my visual looks better on Facebook than it does YouTube, but I'm actually very happy that my YouTube is not messing up, because usually if I do this, it's much slower and whatnot, but it seems like everything is working itself out as it should be. So everything is good. All good in the neighborhood. I wonder if I do this with the light, will the light be better if I put it up to this camera like that? Sure, why not? Anyways, okay. Just to give it a little bit more effect. So anyways, the main reason why, let me go over here, there we go. So the main reason why I even brought the subject matter up as far as, okay, look, U.S. economy is not in the best shape. Okay, hasn't been in the best shape in a long time, but this year it just really feels like it's going in the tank every single day. But there's a home that it caught my eye off of Sudley Road. It's not, so this home is 15, 20 minutes tops with traffic away from where I live at now. Okay. Sudley Road, Manassas, Virginia. This is the western part of Prince William County, Virginia, in the Northern Virginia area. Now, this home might have a little bit more land than what usually, and I think that's the only real reason why at this home, because a lot of those homes out there were built with more land compared to the eastern part of Prince William County. Now, bear in mind, this is just Prince William County. We're not even talking about the upper crest of society of Northern Virginia, okay? But this is, and you can look this home up. The address is 9019 Sudley Road, Manassas, Virginia. And I'll spell Sudley out, Sudley Road. All right, 9019 Sudley Road, Manassas, Virginia, area code 20110. 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. All right. One level, by the way. If you're gonna keep it real. I don't know what this is. Why is this doing this nonsense now while I'm live? Lord have mercy. But yeah, it's a trip when I think about this right now. Okay, it is a trip. And now the computer wants to act a fool. This is why I need to get a newer computer. Lord have mercy. Escape. But yeah, this is a trip. As far as the square footage goes. Okay, there we go. Thank God. All right, go backwards. All right. Go back to where we were just at. Yes, we go. All right, cool. Because I want to talk about the square footage of this property. Right. Yep, there it is. Perfect. All right, come on. This tripped me out to no end. Open it up again, because Lord have mercy. All right, cool. There we go. Square footage, 2,322. All right. Once again, 4-bedroom. All right. 3 baths. All right. 1 level. Like I said, nice sized backyard, but the home cost $650,000. That's my point. The home cost $650,000. Now, bear in mind, DMV area is very expensive, but Manassas, Virginia, without traffic, is about 45. It could be up to 40 minutes to 45 minutes away. Okay, from Washington D.C., where all the action's at, which is already a overpriced place. But the fact that this home cost what it cost puzzles me to no end. Okay, puzzles me to no end. It drives me nuts. It's insane. Hard to believe, but it puzzles me to no end. And it just makes me say to myself, what the heck is going on? in the DMV area, specifically Northern Virginia. Okay, what the heck is going on? You know, that's what it makes me think. Okay, because I'm just like, wow. That's all I can say. Because now it's just like, okay, now let's go to homes. Let's go to Fairfax County. Homes in Fairfax, yep. For sure. Yep. Let's do it. Let's just do it. We're live. Anything can happen when you're live. So let's just do it. And I'm talking about this because this is my backyard. This is where I grew up. Now, I haven't even put the price on it. Okay. So, we'll look at on the cheaper end of Fairfax County. This is a townhome. $615,000, 2,216 square foot. Now, at least this home is closer to DC. This home is surrounded by areas where there are a lot of good paying jobs. 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom. All right. Now, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom. Now, I will say that at least with this home, it's a single family home. Square footage, 2,711 square foot, $874,000. Okay. Northern Virginia for regular everyday working people is done when it comes to real estate. Unless you're going to be like certain people who come over from other countries, and no shade on this because a lot of people are very prosperous, have like 3 or 4 families living up in the house, but very expensive. This house is 4 rooms, 4 bathrooms, at least 3,450 square foot. So at least this is a much bigger home. But this house is over $1 million in Fairfax County. All right. So moral of the story is Northern Virginia is cooked, as the saying goes. Now this house, which is very small, you see houses like this in my neighborhood. I think it's a 1 level. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, at least it's a single family home. Square footage, 1,140 square foot. 599,000, might as well just be 600,000 just to even it up. All right. So, townhome in Fairfax County, $636,000. 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom. As a friend, I won't say friend, a former coworker of mine, I look at this because, especially with the job market in this area changing, I just look at it being a very unsustainable environment. Another place in Fairfax County, might as well be $1 million, $995,000, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 3,498 square footage. Looks like it's another 1 level, possibly a 2 level, but $995,000. Let's go to Alexandria. And I'm not a fan of the area that I grew up in, so that's why I'm just like, I'm not like, oh my God, we need to do something to make this place better. This place is cooked from a real estate perspective. Now, there are people that are still making money moves and whatnot, but this place is cooked from a real estate perspective. All right. Make sure my YouTube is good. Yep, cool. Okay. Yeah, it says my connection is unstable on YouTube. But I'm not going to be on here much longer. I figured that 20 minutes should do it. But anyways, so Alexandria, which is much more closer to Washington, D.C., meaning that you're closer to jobs, you're closer to all the action is. You have a metro. Fairfax County has a metro as well. Princeton County, that's the first county I was talking about, does not have a metro. But so your average house in Alexandria is over $1 million plus. 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom, $500,000. Okay, so it's if you want if you want a 2-bedroom condo for sale, don't forget about those condo fees. Then you could pay about $349,000. Now I think but that's for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Now if it was a 3-bedroom, I could maybe go with that, maybe. But yeah, majority of everything that most people want to live in that's in Alexandria is about $1 million. The DMV area is cooked. I'll be right back. So yeah, the DMV area is definitely cooked. Specifically, Northern Virginia is cooked, because that's basically the name of this live stream. Um, and it doesn't. I guess I don't. I could just honestly say I don't care, even though I operate out of here. I'm a Virginian, no matter what. Even though I'd rather be on the West Coast, but the thing is, um, like it's if regular everyday working people like me didn't even purchase the homes that I'm living in now, um, then most likely, back in 2010, then most likely I would not be able to afford to live here right now. Or if I, let me rephrase, I could afford to live here, but I would not. I would go out of my way and make more sacrifices in life to leave this area, because I'm just like, there's no way I'm going to pay $500,000 for the home that I live in now, unless I'm looking at palm trees and sandy beaches. Okay, I'm looking at beautiful desert mountains. I'm minutes away from the excitement, not 45 minutes to an hour away from the excitement, and minutes away from the excitement of a city where it's easy for me to park in. You know what I mean? Or if I want to get an Uber, it won't cost me $100. So that's what I'm saying. Now, Arlington, Virginia, right outside of DC. Arlington is where the action's at. You got the Pentagon in Arlington. You have the airport, DCA, where I usually fly out of in Arlington. You have multiple military bases in Arlington, multiple corporations in Arlington. Alexandria is right next door. DC's right next door. The Washington Harbor is right next door. So I get it. Okay? I totally get it when it comes to Arlington. You know, for a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom house, 3,000 square foot, it's going to be $2 million. I remember back in 2005, 6, 7 time frame when a lot in Arlington was $1 million. A lot in itself was $1 million. 6-bedroom, 7-bathroom house, $3 million. All right. 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house, almost $2 million. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, $800,000. 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, $335,000. All right. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, $700,000. 3-bedroom, 5-bathroom house. I think that's off. It makes no sense to have 5 bathrooms. $800,000. 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Condo, my bad. $500,000. Townhome, 2 beds, 2 baths, $500,000. All right. So yeah, I've gone over the areas that matter the most, but wait, there's more. There's always more. There has to be more. Because now let's go to the areas that are further away from the Beltway. That's considered outside of the Beltway. And like once you get to Woodbridge, you're outside of the Beltway. You know, the DMV area really consists of where the metro is at. So the metro in Virginia stops in Springfield. All right. You have metro in Fairfax and Reston. You have the metro in Maryland. And obviously the metro's headquarters comes out of Washington, D.C. You have the metro in Alexandria, Arlington. So wherever you're at, when there's no metro, you're considered outside of the Beltway. Okay. All right. So let's go with Stafford County, which is south of Prince William County, known as Woodbridge, Virginia. All right. This is just, like I said, for me, this is just entertaining. It's been a minute since I've been on here. It's been months since I've been live on here. I want to go live on here at least once a month. Okay. So if you think, back in my day, but so I'll say 20 years ago, everybody started flooding to Stafford County. Everybody started flooding down to Stafford County, Virginia. And, for me, that was always another world, even though it was 20 minutes away without traffic. With traffic, it could be up to 40 minutes away. But your average, so now, bear in mind, there are very nice homes in Stafford County, but so for a single family home, 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, $500,000. Square footage is much bigger, 3,570 square footage. So bigger homes. You will get more home for your money. That's for a lot of people. Unfortunately, majority of people that live in Stafford County work within the Beltway, so they have to commute at least 45 minutes, at least, to get to a decent paying job to pay for these homes. They have a beautiful base known as the Quantico Marine Base next door. Shout out to the Marines. Shout out to the military. But majority of the people that live in Stafford cannot get a decent paying job on that base. And people that usually get a job on that base die, or they really have to retire or pass away. Another 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom house, $700,000. Okay, so you have a lot of these homes that are $500,000. I mean, for another 4-bedroom, 4-bath house, $500,000. 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom house. Now, a lot of these houses do have land. I will say that much. But yeah, they're all $500,000. I mean, one house, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, $485,000. So might as well be $500,000. And with today's interest rates, now we get to the townhomes, 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, $375,000. This one place is $500,000, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. I mean, here's a smaller place, $350,000. But it's insane. Now, the place that was always known to be the furthest place, but more and more people have moved to, and it's a shame because, like I said, in a sense, the DMV area is turning into the West Coast. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, it's turning into the West Coast. That's the funny thing. Nobody wants to acknowledge that, but the cost because I remember when the cost of living for a house, I'll go with Riverside, California. Okay, I go with Riverside, California. Now, back when I was seriously looking for a house in Riverside, California, this was back in 2016, 17, 18 timeframe. So all those houses were $500,000, but the interest rates were decent, weren't as high back then. The U.S. economy was in way better shape compared to what it is now. Much more hope and optimism. But so this home looks like an estate. It's about 3,873 square footage, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, very nice house. But it's $50,000. Bear in mind, Fredericksburg without traffic is about an hour south of Washington, D.C. With traffic can be up to 2 hours at times. And most people that live there work within the Beltway, and they either have to drive and sit in crazy traffic, pay tolls, by the way, let's not forget about the tolls, or they have to get on what is known as the Virginia Railway Express, known as the VRE, which is not as dependable as people would like. Now here's one house that's 2,234 square footage, $475,000, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Yeah. Yeah. So another house, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, $600,000. Townhome, okay, townhouse, $440,000. Fredericksburg used to be cheap, not anymore. This one little house, it looks like it's meant for senior citizens. It's actually at a reasonable price, but it's at 544 square footage, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Now, that's the kind of place either a college kid would want to live in or a retiree with less stuff. Now, here's a place that's a little bit bigger, 1,188 square footage, $285,000. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Now that's a reasonable deal. I think that's the most reasonable deal I've seen. And the house looks very nice. I even give the address. It's 12 Manchester Court, Fredericksburg, Virginia. Looks very nice. Yeah, definitely look it up. 12 Manchester Court, Fredericksburg, Virginia, 22408. Okay. That's the most decent deal I've seen. I've seen. I don't know how good the area is, but for anything that looks that reasonable, under $300,000, my only thing is like, hey, do you want to live in Fredericksburg, Virginia? Number one. Then number two, do you work online or do you have to go up to Washington, D.C. every day? Your quality of life. I remember talking to this one brother. His name was Wendell. This was 10 years ago. Like I said, time flies. I'm about to end this live, but I remember, it was 10 years ago. And I was talking to this brother named Wendell. And he he lived in Fredericksburg. He worked in D.C. And I say, brother, I don't know how you do it. Because, Fredericksburg is like, without traffic, it's almost 40 minutes south of where I live at in Woodbridge, okay? So I'm just like, how do you do it? He's like, well, I did have a nicer home for my son. I said, respect, grown man business. And he's like, but he said, my quality of life, man, has gone to crap. He said, my quality of life has gone to crap. I was like, really? He said, yeah. I said, dang, that's crazy. I'm like, that's crazy. But anyways, it looks like it might have got cut off on YouTube. But this is, like I said, I'm going to, for my YouTube people, sorry, please go to my Facebook page. I'm going to be getting a newer computer. Like I said, once things get stabilized, and so I can go live on this YouTube channel more. Because it keeps saying unstable, and I know I've been on longer than this, so I think it disconnected and reconnected with the live stream. But anyways, you can see the full video on Facebook. Patterson L Properties LLC on Facebook. Patterson L Properties LLC on Facebook. But anyways, moral of the story is this. Wendell said that, his quality, like, he's like, all I do is work and go home. He's like, I don't have time to work out. He said on the weekends, it's basically just running errands and whatnot. And then he said by the time I get a chance to relax, I sleep and chill. And the next thing I know, it's Monday morning. I got to get up and back to the grind again. And I'm just like, and I remember he said what he was going to do was, once his son graduated from high school and his son goes to college, he said he was going to sell his home in Fredericksburg and either rent or buy a 2-bedroom townhome or condo in Alexandria, so that he could be closer to his job and so that he could have a better quality of life. He's a sports guy. He want to go to a basketball game, go to a football game. But, living in Fredericksburg, you're so far away from everything. So that's my opinion. Maybe I'll do a video next week and go live and talk about how Maryland is cooked, and as far as the DMV area aspect of Maryland. Shout out PG, Prince George's County. Shout out Charles County. Shout out Montgomery County. Those are the main counties that people live in. That's connected with the metro and whatnot, all that good stuff. Places like Waldorf, Suitland, places like Oxon Hill, places like Silver Spring, places Fort Washington. Because people have been basically pushed out of Prince George's County, into Charles County because it's too cheap. Everybody's being pushed out of Woodbridge and down to Stafford County and down to Fredericksburg and down to even Spotsylvania. I didn't even go to Spotsylvania, which is right next door to Fredericksburg. So next thing you know, people are going to be getting pushed out to King George and Caroline County. That's how insane real estate has gotten in this area. And, hope prosperity for it. Who knows? I can't put it any other way. We'll see what happens. All right. So anyways, don't forget to check out my online store. If you want to contribute to the channel, hit up the Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, all that good stuff. Because I'm not monetized on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, if you want to give me stars, please do so. And all that good stuff. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to write something this week and do my normal, but I wanted to do something different. But I knew that going live on YouTube on this computer was going to have a connection problem and all that good stuff. And camera's not even the best. On my cell phone, it's way better. So anyways, hopefully you guys have a great day. If you're a frequent traveler like myself, I'm going to put the new link to my travel team. You can become a part of my team. I don't know if I'm going to, as far as with the travel thing, if I'm going to start booking travel, but I know that I'm all about helping people accomplish their goals and aspirations, be able to travel and make money while doing it all at the same time. So do great three things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves on your liberal like forward, saying Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. I'm out.